Success belongs to the one who acts before the world agrees. When you step with certainty, even chaos gets out of your way. You don't wait for permission. You don't check the temperature of the room. You command the atmosphere. You walk, talk, and strike as if the results are already yours, because belief backed by action bends reality. Most people stall because they're addicted to proof. But champions move first. They trust the unseen. They sprint when others are still checking the map, because deep down they know the world follows the one who leads. Indecision is the enemy. Kill it. The moment you hesitate, opportunity moves on. You can't lead and doubt at the same time. Doubt slows your hands, blurs your vision, drains your power. Every giant leap was once taken in the dark, but it wasn't darkness to the one who believed. It was direction. You don't need every step mapped out. You just need one clear command in your spirit: move. The rest will show up when you do. The greatest lie is wait until you're ready. You're never ready. And the ones who win never waited. They acted. They looked fear in the face and moved anyway. They stumbled, they adjusted, they bled, but they never stopped. Because when you move with purpose, life makes room, doors open, people show up, solutions appear, not by magic, but by momentum. The world responds to force, not hesitation. What you obsess over, you create. What you expect, you attract. If you walk like the future is guaranteed, it begins to arrange itself in your favor. That's not fantasy. That's the physics of focused action. You build the result with every thought, every move, every step you take with confidence. So why play small? Why drag your feet? Decide what you want, burn the doubt, and act like it's done. Because that's how you make it real. You are not here to react. You are here to direct. This life, this opportunity, this moment, it's not waiting for you to feel ready. It's waiting for you to move like you're already winning. You're the cause. You're the force. You are not one of the many. You are one of the few who understand reality bends for the bold. You don't need a sign. You are the sign. You don't need motivation. You need motion. Get up. Get obsessed. Get moving. Not tomorrow. Now. Not maybe. Move as if everything is already falling into place, because when you do, it will. This isn't hype. This is law. Or this is power. This is how winners are made. Faith in motion is power unleashed. The second you move with belief, something shifts in the atmosphere. The moment your feet hit the ground with conviction, the world takes notice. You're no longer asking, hoping, or wishing. You're commanding. Every action you take, when fueled by unwavering faith, becomes a magnet for the results you desire. You no longer look for signs. You become the sign. You no longer need encouragement. You generate it with your own steps. You don't wait for proof that it's working. You move like it's already done. You speak like it's already yours. You act like the doors are already open. Because when faith becomes action, doubt dies quietly in the corner, unable to compete with the sound of movement backed by certainty. People fail not because they lack talent or intelligence. They fail because they never learned how to move before the outcome is visible. They want results first, then belief. But the law doesn't work that way. Faith demands that you walk in the dark and trust the destination will be lit by the time you arrive. Faith doesn't make you blind. It gives you vision beyond what the eyes can see. It pushes you to move when logic screams wait. It fuels your steps when fear tells you to sit. Faith in motion turns the invisible into the inevitable. It removes hesitation and replaces it with holy fire. The kind of fire that can't be reasoned with, can't be stopped, and doesn't wait for outside permission. You become unstoppable the moment you stop looking for permission. The moment you act as if everything is already falling into place. Something awakens inside you. It's not arrogance, it's authority. The authority of someone who understands that hesitation is a thief, that playing it safe is the slowest form of suicide. You don't need to see the whole path. You need to trust the first step. That trust is power. That power multiplies when you commit fully. No plan B, no exit strategy, no second guessing. Just relentless forward motion backed by a mind made up and a heart set on fire. Faith without motion is fantasy. Motion without faith is reckless. But when the two unite, when belief fuels action and action deepens belief, you create a force that reshapes reality. The world doesn't respond to hope. It doesn't respond to fear. It responds to movement, precise, deliberate, faith-filled movement. You don't talk about what you're going to do. You do it. You don't broadcast your dreams. You build them silently, with sweat and discipline and days most people will never see. Faith in motion doesn't ask for applause. It asks for war and wins it. One committed step at a time. You'll know you've stepped into real power when you stop checking for approval, when you stop explaining yourself, when your only language is progress. Every day forward, every move loaded with intent. There will be resistance. That's how you know you're walking in power. That's how you know you're building something real. Weak plans collapse under pressure, but faith-fueled momentum grows stronger with every hit. It doesn't slow down. It sharpens. It doubles down. Because the vision is bigger than the setback. The outcome is already decided in the mind of the one who refuses to turn back. Most people are running from fear. The rare few are running towards something bigger. Faith in motion is the difference. It doesn't just move for the sake of movement. It moves with destiny in its eyes and war in its bones. It moves like the future already belongs to it. That kind of movement sends shock waves. It draws the right people. It attracts the right opportunities. Not by luck, but by law. Because motion fueled by faith disrupts the atmosphere. It forces alignment. It commands outcomes. It tells the mountain to move and doesn't flinch when it shakes. It keeps moving, with or without applause, with or without support, with or without visible evidence that its working greatness doesn't show up for the most talented. It shows up for the most faithful in motion. The ones who show up when no one's watching. The ones who push when everything in them says stop. The ones who act like it's already done and move like it's already here. They're not waiting for motivation. They're not craving validation. They don't care if the crowd claps or the critics scream. Their mission is internal, their pace is personal, their power is untouchable, because they know who they are, they know what they're building, and they know the only way to reach it is to keep moving as if the outcome is already set. You don't need another sign, you don't need another strategy, you don't need more time. You need to decide, and once you decide, you need to move, not cautiously, not slowly, boldly, decisively, as if the outcome is certain, because it is. The moment your movement matches your belief, that is where breakthrough lives. That is where transformation happens. That is where you go from average to unstoppable. That is how you rise. That is how you win. That is how you move as if everything is already falling into place. Because when you do, it will certainty kills doubt. It doesn't negotiate with it. It doesn't entertain it. It doesn't sit down and listen to its reasons. It ends it instantly. The moment you decide with total clarity, every ounce of hesitation begins to die. Doubt only survives in the presence of indecision. It feeds on hesitation. It grows in silence. But when you move with certainty, there's no space left for doubt to breathe. Certainty is the weapon. It's the edge. It's the invisible force behind every unstoppable individual who refused to shrink. It doesn't ask what if it doesn't work. It declares watch it happen. It doesn't whisper. It roars. And when you walk in it, nothing can stand in your way for long. Most people are not destroyed by failure. They are destroyed by the question mark that lives in their mind. They're torn apart by the endless loop of what if I'm not ready, what if I'm not good enough, what if it all falls apart. That noise becomes a cage. It paralyzes action. It delays destiny. It stops you from making the move that would change everything. But the moment you replace the question mark with a period, the battle shifts. The moment you say this is it, the universe has no choice but to get behind your decision. Certainty flips the switch from fear to fire, from frozen to focused. From maybe to must, you can't create greatness with a divided mind. You can't chase destiny while negotiating with doubt. You have to be all in, not halfway, not hopeful, but fully convinced. That mindset alone separates the winners from the watchers. The moment you become certain, your energy changes, your tone changes, your steps hit harder, people feel it. Rooms shift, eyes turn. Opportunities start to move toward you, not because of luck, but because certainty commands attention. It signals that you're done playing small, that you're done waiting for perfect conditions, that you're no longer asking for permission to be powerful certainty doesn't mean you see every step clearly. It means you trust yourself to take the next one without flinching. It means you've burned the exit plan, you've silenced the excuses, you've killed the doubt before it ever had a chance to grow. Doubt is not a flaw, it's a choice. And when you choose to believe without compromise, you take control of your life. You strip doubt of its authority. You walk with intention, not reaction. You build from vision, not validation. And that level of commitment cannot be stopped by external resistance, because internal clarity always dominates external noise. There are two types of people in this world, those who wait to be certain and those who move until they are. The first group dies wondering. The second group lives proving. The ones who win are not always the most gifted, but they are always the most convinced. Their belief is louder than their fear. Their certainty is bigger than their excuses. Their decision is final, and that decision eliminates the need for constant motivation. It removes the need for constant validation. They don't need someone clapping for them. Their commitment is enough. Their resolve is heavy. Their mindset is locked. Their path is clear. Even if the terrain is not, you don't need more time. You don't need more knowledge. You need a final decision. You need to draw a line in the sand and say, this is who I am, this is what I'm doing, and nothing is going to stop me. Sin, because that is the moment doubt dies. It dies the moment you stop running scenarios and start running forward. It dies the moment you stop preparing for failure and start preparing to win. It dies when you stop negotiating with comfort and start demanding results. You're not here to live halfway. You're not here to entertain fear. You're here to dominate every room you walk into with the kind of conviction that silences every excuse. If there's still a maybe in your voice, it's time to kill it. If there's still an escape hatch in your mind, it's time to seal it. Nothing extraordinary ever comes from a halfway heart. Nothing legendary is built by people who are still looking for signs. You are the sign. You are the answer. You are the one meant to lead, meant to move, meant to rise. But none of that becomes real until you make the decision that leaves no room for retreat. Certainty is that decision. It is not arrogance. It is not ignorance. It is the highest form of power, the full alignment of mind, body, and action moving in one unified direction. Without apology or hesitation, the world doesn't slow down for the unsure. It doesn't make space for the undecided. It rewards the ones who move like the outcome is guaranteed, the ones who don't stutter when they speak, the ones who walk in with the energy of completion, the ones who don't hope for success. They expect it, they demand it, they become it. That kind of certainty is rare, and that's why it's so powerful. It doesn't ask to be seen. It cannot be ignored. It walks in silence and speaks in results. It doesn't flinch when things get hard. It tightens its grip. It sharpens its edge, and it keeps moving forward with fire in its eyes and steel in its spirit because it knows one truth above all: certainty kills doubt. And the moment you choose it, everything changes. The world bows to the bold, not to the careful, not to the polite, not to the ones who tiptoe around their potential, hoping life hands them a break. It bows to the one who storms the front lines with fire in their chest and purpose in their blood. The one who moves without asking if it's okay. The one who dares to take up space, speak with conviction, walk like they already own the outcome. Power doesn't respond to passivity. It responds to pressure. And the bold apply pressure without hesitation. They don't whisper their goals. They roar them into the world through relentless action. They don't request permission. They create opportunity by walking straight through resistance like it was built for them to break. No one remembers the silent dreamers. No one is inspired by the almost. The ones who shift the world are those who move like they were born to do it. The bold don't wait for support. They move first and the support shows up after. They don't wait for things to feel right. They decide what's right and make it real. Boldness is the difference between being seen and being forgotten, between wondering and winning. The bold are not fearless. They just refuse to let fear stop the motion. They are not reckless. They are decisive. They move fast, speak sharp, and execute without apology. That energy commands attention. It doesn't beg for it, it owns it. The world notices not because they shouted, but because they never back down. Every system, every gatekeeper, every obstacle learns to respect the one who refuses to break. The bold understand that life doesn't hand you power, you take it. And you take it by refusing to flinch, by daring to show up bigger than what's trying to shut you down. Most people shrink at the first sign of resistance, but the bold welcome it. They lean into the storm because they know that pressure is not there to stop them. It's there to mold them. Every moment of opposition is a test of how bad you want it, and the bold pass the test by moving forward while others freeze. That's why the world yields. That's why it makes way. Because it's wired to move for the one who moves with unshakable intent. You don't need to scream to be bold. You just need to decide that nothing is going to keep you small. Boldness is not about volume, it's about presence. It's about walking into any space, any room, any opportunity, and carrying the energy of someone who knows they belong, who knows they're not there to blend in but to take over, who knows that they are the value. And when you walk like that, everything starts to shift. People listen closer. Time moves faster. Opportunities stretch wider. Not because the world suddenly changed, but because you did. You flipped the switch from passive to powerful. And that changes everything. Boldness doesn't care if people approve. It doesn't chase agreement. It doesn't water itself down to make others comfortable. It sharpens itself. It pushes forward. It raises the standard. And the world either rises to meet it or gets left behind. That's how leaders are made. That's how empires are built. That's how lives are transformed, not by soft-spoken wishes, but by loud execution. The bold don't hope something happens. They make it happen. They don't check the weather before they go to war. They move regardless of the storm. They build regardless of the setback. They speak even when their voice shakes. Because they know the world isn't moved by silence. It's moved by courage and action. You've been taught to play nice, to wait your turn, to ask instead of take. And where's that gotten you? Playing small never paid off. Playing it safe never got you the life you dreamed of. Boldness is the cure. Boldness breaks the pattern. Boldness tells life, I'm not waiting anymore. It's not about being aggressive. It's about being unapologetically aligned with your mission. When you walk like you mean it, speak like it's truth, move like there's no plan B, life begins to yield, not instantly, but inevitably, because boldness builds momentum, and momentum creates reality. The timid wait to see if the door opens. The bold kick it off the hinges and walk in like they were always meant to be there. Nothing changes until you do, and nothing in you changes until you stop trying to be liked more than you want to be legendary. That shift, from seeking comfort to demanding conquest, is the foundation of every bold move that changes everything. The world doesn't hand out rewards for staying in line. It hands them out to the ones who stepped out, stepped up, and didn't care who got uncomfortable watching them rise. That energy rewrites the rules. That energy rewires your mind. That energy turns vision into impact and potential into power. The bold don't just get noticed, they get results. Because they're not trying to fit in, they're trying to break through. And they don't stop until they do. You want your life to change? Get bold. You want your vision to become reality? Get loud with your action. Not with your mouth, with your motion. Show the world you're serious. Move like there's no retreat. Speak like the answer lives in your chest. Work like nothing can stop you. When you do that, everything around you will start to move. Not by chance, not by magic, but because boldness is a force that bends the world in your direction. Mental blueprint determines physical outcome. What you build in your mind is exactly what you will hold in your hands. There is no success without a plan forged in thought. No achievement without a vision that demands to be turned into reality. The world you live in is nothing more than the design you've accepted or the one you've created. Every result, every win, every failure, it all begins and ends with the blueprint you carry in your mind. You can't build a skyscraper on a blueprint for a shack. And you can't create a powerful life when your mind is still thinking small. Until you change the design, you will repeat the same patterns, the same results, the same setbacks. Your thoughts build the foundation, your belief sets the structure, and your actions bring it to life. Most people never get what they want because they never architect it in their mind first. They walk through life with no blueprint, no clarity, just hopes and wishes thrown at the wall, waiting for something to stick. But life doesn't reward randomness. Life rewards precision. It rewards the one who plans the structure before laying a single brick. If you don't know what you're building, you'll accept anything that shows up. And that's how people drift, wasting years living inside outcomes that were never theirs to begin with. They never drew the plan, they never set the standards, they never committed to the vision long enough for it to take shape. Your mind is not just a place where thoughts live, it's a command center that directs your actions and shapes your reality. When you design a future with intention, every thought, every move, every decision is aligned with that vision. Distraction loses its power because you know where you're headed. Fear loses its grip because your blueprint is stronger than your doubts. You're not acting on emotion, you're executing a plan that already lives in your mind. That's the difference between those who talk about change and those who create it. One dreams, the other designs and builds. Ask yourself what you've been mentally constructing. Is it reinforced with discipline and purpose, or is it built on shaky foundations of uncertainty and excuses? If your vision isn't clear, your actions will stay scattered. If your plan isn't solid, your results will stay weak. You'll keep wondering why nothing changes while repeating the same flawed design. To build something powerful, you have to see it before anyone else does. You have to visualize it with such clarity that your mind has no choice but to instruct your body to make it happen. You move different when the blueprint is engraved in your mind because you're no longer guessing. Your executing clarity turns into conviction. Conviction turns into consistent action. Consistent action turns the mental blueprint into a physical structure. That's how change is born. That's how goals are achieved. Not by luck or scattered effort, but by calculated steps rooted in a plan you refuse to let go of. It's not always about speed. It's about building something that can withstand pressure, setbacks, and time. The stronger your mental blueprint, the less likely you are to collapse when things get difficult. Obstacles don't stop builders. They force them to adjust and reinforce the plan. A strong mind doesn't ask if it will happen. It focuses on how to make it happen because the design is already there waiting to be built if you keep allowing negative thoughts, limiting beliefs, and fear to sketch your future. Don't be surprised when the outcome looks nothing like what you want. You can't build success on the foundation of doubt. You can't create something extraordinary with the mindset of someone who's accepted ordinary. You need to tear down the weak designs you've lived in for too long and rebuild with standards that match the life you want. That means eliminating the excuses you've been living behind. That means drawing the line on small thinking. That means refusing to let outdated versions of yourself keep running the show. A powerful life demands a powerful mind, one that is clear on what it's building and relentless in bringing it to life. It's not enough to simply want more, then you have to design more. You have to see exactly what that more looks like, how you'll build it, what you'll sacrifice, what you'll no longer tolerate. You need a plan that guides your steps when motivation fades, because motivation will always fade. Discipline follows the blueprint, not feelings. And when you commit to that design, you begin to see the pieces come together. First in your mind, then in the world around you. Others will call it luck or talent, but you'll know it was the result of a clear vision executed with purpose. Greatness isn't an accident. It's engineered. It's built brick by brick from a mind that refuses to settle for anything less than the structure it designed. The physical world can only give you what your mental world is prepared to receive. So if your life doesn't reflect what you want, check the blueprint. Check the thoughts you keep feeding. Check the standards you've allowed. Tear down anything that doesn't support the structure you know you're meant to build, because that structure will never construct itself. It's on you to design it, to refine it, and to build it until it stands unshakable. The mind builds what the heart desires, but only if you give it a clear plan to follow and the discipline to stay with it when others quit. When your mental blueprint is solid, the outcome is no longer a question. It's just a matter of time. You are the cause, not the effect. You are the fire, not the smoke. You are the storm, not the aftermath. The world doesn't move you, you move the world. Too many people live as if they're waiting for permission, waiting for the right time, waiting for life to give them a break. But those who lead, those who dominate, those who build legacy don't wait, they decide. They don't react, they initiate. When you understand you are the cause, everything changes. Your environment stops controlling you. Your past stops defining you. Your fears stop directing you. Because you've claimed the truth that the power lives in you, not outside of you, people trapped in the mindset of effect believe that success depends on luck, on other people, on circumstances aligning just right. But that belief system is a cage. It strips you of your responsibility and therefore strips you of your power. When you live like life is happening to you, you'll never rise, you'll just adjust. You'll just survive, you'll just settle. But the moment you flip the switch and realize that life is happening because of you, you stop adjusting and start architecting. You stop reacting and start reshaping. You begin to approach every moment with the conviction that you set the tone, you set the rules, you define the outcome. Your results are not random. They're not the product of someone else's decision. They are the echo of your thoughts, your habits, your decisions repeated daily. If you don't like the outcome, trace it back to the root, your belief system. Change doesn't begin in the world around you. It begins in the world within you. That's where all true power lives. That's where cause is born. If you keep handing your power away, blaming time, people, conditions, you will never rise. But when you say, I am the reason it changes, I am the spark, then nothing external can hold you hostage ever again. Being the cause means owning every inch of your reality. No more deflecting, no more excuses, no more waiting for something to change outside of you before you move. You lead, you direct, you decide how this story unfolds. That doesn't mean it's easy. That means it's yours. Your future is not luck, it's construction. It's the sum of your repeated decisions, your repeated responses, your relentless push forward. You want change? Then cause it. You want breakthrough? Then initiate it. You want power? Then stop giving it away to conditions you could rise above if you chose to. The ones who build the life they want are not sitting around hoping the winds shift in their favor. They are out there learning how to sail regardless of the storm. They are bending reality with their decisions, not bending their ambition to fit their current environment. They know that being the cause means being willing to be misunderstood, to be doubted, to be seen as too much. Because power always shakes those who have none. They know that responsibility is not a weight, it's a weapon, and they use it to carve a path through every wall that stands between them and the life they've decided to create. This mindset separates the average from the elite. The average blame, complain, point fingers, and wait for perfect timing. The elite own every inch. They ask what else they can do. They wake up knowing their actions today are the seed of tomorrow's harvest. They don't move based on mood. They move based on mission. And that mission is clear: to build, to expand, to rise, to leave no piece of potential on the table, to never let outside forces dictate what is possible. Because they are the cause. They don't adapt to the world. They shape it. They don't follow momentum. They create it. The second you take full command of your energy, your time, your choices, you stop being a passenger and you become the driver. The road doesn't define your journey, you do. The obstacles don't determine your limits, you do. Everything you need is already in you. But until you accept that you are the source, the change, the ignition, nothing shifts. Life doesn't get better with hope. It gets better with execution. You are not waiting on the world to open a door. You are kicking it down and building new ones. You are not here to observe. You are here to disrupt the moment you take your power back. Everything starts aligning. Not because the world changed. Because you did. You stopped waiting. You stopped reacting. You stopped shrinking. You looked in the mirror and said, "It's on me." And that is the most liberating moment a person can experience. Because from that place, nothing is off limits. From that place, every setback becomes a setup. Every challenge becomes fuel. Every delay becomes data. And every moment becomes yours to shape. This is your life, your shot, your name. And you don't owe anyone a soft, silent, reactive version of yourself. You owe the world your fire, your discipline, Your clarity. You owe yourself the full expression of the cause you were born to be. The moment you step into that role, the effect becomes undeniable. Because when the cause is powerful, the result has no choice but to match. Obsession over outcome breeds momentum, not interest, not curiosity. Obsession, the kind that eats excuses for breakfast. The kind that wakes you up before your alarm and keeps you moving long after the crowd quits. When your mind is locked on a result so deeply that it becomes part of your identity, your actions shift from casual to unstoppable. You no longer work like someone trying. You work like someone who has decided. That level of clarity, that intensity, ignites a force most people never touch. It creates energy. It builds momentum. And momentum breaks through barriers that would stop the average mind in its tracks. Casual commitment never breeds consistent movement. Casual effort never builds a legacy. If you're halfway in, you'll get halfway results. But when you are obsessed, when the outcome is non-negotiable, your mind filters out distractions, your body pushes through fatigue, and your soul stops entertaining backup plans. Momentum is not given, it's earned. It's forged in the fire of relentless focus. And nothing fuels that fire like obsession. Not hype, not motivation, obsession. That sacred refusal to settle for anything less than the goal. That ruthless drive to keep going until the result is real. When obsession drives you, there is no debate about what to do next. The mission is always clear. The decision is always made. The distractions are irrelevant. Doubt gets drowned by action. Because every thought, every step, every moment is aligned with one thing: forward. You don't need perfect conditions when you're obsessed. You create momentum by making the move anyway. You don't ask if you feel like it. You move regardless. Because the vision demands motion. The vision demands you show up at full capacity before the world even recognizes your name. That's what obsession does. It puts you in motion when most are stuck in thought. You want results like the elite? You need to go beyond motivation. Motivation is weak. It's a spark. Obsession is the furnace. It doesn't wait to be inspired. It is the inspiration. Obsession doesn't need applause. It moves in silence, sharpens in private, and explodes in public when the work finally meets the result. Momentum builds because obsession doesn't need to pause for praise. It doesn't take breaks to feel appreciated. It just keeps pushing because the outcome is all that matters. The scoreboard, the goal, the vision made real. That's the fuel. That's the fix. That's the fire. People misunderstand obsession. They call it unhealthy. They call it extreme. And they're right, because average minds can't comprehend elite focus. Average minds want balance. Elite minds want victory. Obsession isn't for everyone, but if you want to dominate, if you want to rise, if you want to lead in your space, you don't have the luxury of being casual. You need to be all in, all the time, with your eyes locked on the outcome like it's oxygen. You need to build so much internal momentum that quitting isn't even an option. It's not part of the vocabulary anymore. Momentum is what separates potential from performance. It's the difference between a great idea and a great result. It's what happens when energy stacks on energy, day after day, action after action, until the world can't ignore what you've built. And it all starts with obsession, because obsession creates consistency. And consistency builds rhythm. And rhythm turns into speed. And speed, combined with direction, becomes a force that crushes resistance. That's how momentum is born, not from talent, not from waiting for perfect timing, but from an internal fire that refuses to go out. Obsession doesn't mean you're reckless. It means you're locked in. It means your choices serve your vision. It means you say no to anything that doesn't move you forward. You train when it's inconvenient. You build when no one's watching. You show up when others sleep. You live in alignment with your outcome because you are the outcome before it's even here. That's how you break inertia. That's how you make progress your default setting. That's how you move faster than doubt, faster than distraction, faster than fear. The obsessed don't need to be told to work. They have to be told to stop. You can feel it when someone is moving with obsession. They don't talk about what they're going to do, they do it. They don't overthink, they overdeliver, they don't need more time, they make time irrelevant. Because the mission is locked. The timeline is now. The movement is constant. They're not chasing the outcome, they're becoming it. And that shift changes everything. That shift builds a momentum that doesn't die when motivation dips. It's self-feeding, self-sustaining, because obsession is a source, not a spark if you've been stuck. If you've been hesitating, check your level of obsession. Check how deeply the outcome owns your thoughts, your time, your effort. Are you flirting with success, or have you married the mission? Are you interested, or are you consumed by the result? Because until you reach obsession, you'll always be tempted to slow down, to settle, to wait. But when you're obsessed, the only direction is forward, and the only option is finish. That's how momentum is built. That's how greatness is made, not in the soft comfort of balance, but in the relentless pursuit of something you refuse to live without. Reality mirrors attitude. The world reflects back to you the exact energy you carry into it. If your attitude is weak, life meets you with resistance. If your mindset is small, your outcomes shrink to match. But when your attitude radiates conviction, certainty, and absolute belief in your direction, the world begins to shift. Doors open, people respond, opportunities align, not because of luck, but because of the force you carry in your presence. You're not watching life unfold. You're dictating how it unfolds by the internal posture you hold every second of the day. Your reality is nothing more than a projection of the attitude you lead. With a defeated attitude can never create a victorious life. You cannot walk through the world expecting excellence while carrying hesitation, bitterness, or doubt in your tone. Attitude isn't surface, it's strategy, it's power, it's signal. The strongest people on this planet aren't the ones who have the easiest path. They're the ones who bring a mindset so unshakable, so dominant, that reality has no choice but to conform. You can't expect to win if you move like someone waiting to lose. You can't expect results if you carry the attitude of someone who questions whether they deserve them. Reality doesn't lie, it simply reflects. This is why two people in the same situation can produce two entirely different outcomes. One brings confidence, and life bends. The other brings fear, and life hardens. What changed? Not the world, the attitude. The internal energy, the way they spoke, moved, responded, chose. Everything in your external world is tied to how you approach it mentally and emotionally. You bring clarity, life gives you direction. You bring indecision, life multiplies confusion. You bring strength, life offers resistance that sharpens. You bring weakness, life hands you defeat before you even start. You teach the world how to treat you by how you show up in it. If your attitude is rooted in expectation and belief, momentum finds you. You don't have to chase it. It recognizes the signal you send. But if your attitude is laced with doubt and hesitation, you will repel progress. Nothing flourishes in a mind that's preparing to lose. You must carry yourself like it's already happening, like the victory is already done, because that mental certainty influences every step you take, and every step reinforces the next. This is how momentum is born, not from results, but from an attitude that invites results. The mindset that says, I belong here, long before the world gives you proof you don't get what you want. You get what you're aligned with. And attitude is alignment. It's your internal declaration of identity and expectation. The attitude you carry into the room changes the room. It either elevates or deflates. It either attracts or repels. It either creates possibility or confirms limitation. If you keep waiting for your circumstances to shift before you adjust your mindset, you'll be waiting forever. You shift your mindset first. That's the trigger. That's the catalyst. That's the spark that flips everything. You raise the standard internally, and the world catches up. There is no cheat code around attitude. You can fake skills, fake effort, even fake presence, but you can't fake energy. People feel it. Life responds to it. Attitude is the raw truth that leaks out of you whether you realize it or not. You can't hide a broken mindset behind flashy effort. And you can't fake strength in the mirror for long if your internal dialogue is still chained to insecurity. If you want a better reality, build a stronger attitude. Build it with discipline. Build it with responsibility. Build it with relentless self-belief that doesn't ask the world for permission. The most successful people in any field didn't get there by chance. They carried a mindset long before. The world validated it. They stepped into situations already knowing they belonged. They weren't waiting for affirmation. They were creating confirmation. That's the difference. It's not arrogance, it's alignment. They didn't just believe things would work. They believed they would make them work. That's power. That's attitude. That's the cause behind every result you call success. The beauty of this truth is that you don't need anyone's approval to shift it. No one can control your attitude unless you hand them that power. You get to decide, moment by moment, how you meet resistance, how you respond to failure, how you carry yourself when no one's watching. You can walk into any room, any season, any challenge, and declare by your presence, I'm not here to participate, I'm here to lead. And when your attitude speaks that language, reality starts to adjust to your tone every day you are training life how to respond to you. Through your posture, through your speech, through your focus, through your attitude. If you carry a mindset of scarcity, life will confirm lack. If you bring a spirit of abundance, life will reflect more. If you show up with hunger, intensity, and direction, life gives you a field to dominate. But if you walk through your days like a victim, uncertain and reactive, you'll get handed whatever scraps are left after the ones who claim their destiny are done you want better. Outcomes? Bring a better attitude, one that doesn't flinch in the face of obstacles, one that doesn't beg for ease but is ready for war, one that moves like success is inevitable, not optional. Reality listens to that. Reality mirrors that. Reality follows that fear is just a liar with a microphone. It speaks loud, but it says nothing true. It grabs your attention, distorts your vision, paralyzes your progress, and sells you on a story built on nothing but fiction. It tells you you're not ready, not worthy, not strong enough, not smart enough, not experienced enough, but fear never fact-checks. It just shouts. And if you listen, if you give it a seat at your table, it will run your life while producing absolutely nothing of value. Fear doesn't come with solutions. It comes with volume. It's not your guide, it's your greatest con artist. Fear doesn't stop the future from coming. It just robs you of the present. It keeps you living in imaginary scenarios where everything fails, where you fall short, where you lose, and none of it is happening. But your energy drains, your focus slips, and your ambition shrinks because you let the loudest voice win. And that voice isn't truth, it's fear with a megaphone. You want clarity? Mute the noise. You want direction? Turn down the volume on doubt and turn up the intensity on discipline. Because fear cannot survive in the presence of decisive, focused action. Every breakthrough you want is on the other side of fear. Every goal, every dream, every next level. Fear guards the door to all of it. But here's the secret. It's unarmed. It has no claws, no teeth, no chains, just noise, just illusions, just recycled lies it's been whispering since you were a kid. But once you move through it, you realize it was never real. The walls you thought were there were just shadows. The ceilings were imagined. And what felt like a giant was only a whisper with a speaker system. Don't fight fear, ignore it, move anyway. Train your mind to respond with action when it screams the loudest. The more you obey fear, the louder it gets. It grows by your surrender. But when you step forward in spite of it, it weakens. Every move you make without its permission is a blow to its grip. You can't negotiate with it. You can't wait for it to leave. You crush fear by doing the exact thing it says you can't. Not once, not twice, consistently, repeatedly, until fear becomes background noise and your momentum becomes the main event. This is how confidence is built. Not by waiting for fear to disappear, but by proving you don't need to listen to it. Fear is loud, but it's not loyal. It shows up before every major leap, every challenge, every calling. It doesn't care if the thing you're after is your purpose or your next paycheck. It just wants to stop movement. It wants to freeze potential, and it will say anything to do it. But once you recognize the pattern, you stop believing the script. You stop making decisions from the voice of panic. You stop treating fear like it's wisdom. Most of the time, the thing you're scared of is the exact thing that will stretch you, strengthen you, and set you apart. Fear wants you comfortable. Growth doesn't. Your legacy doesn't live in safety. It lives in courage. It lives in the bold moves you made while fear was still screaming in your ear. It lives in the steps you took without knowing the outcome. The world doesn't remember the ones who played it safe. It remembers the ones who felt the fear and moved anyway. Every leader, every champion, every groundbreaker learned to outpace fear, not because they were fearless, but because they refused to be ruled by noise. They learned that fear is often the clearest signal that they are stepping into something meaningful. You must stop treating fear like it has final authority. Fear doesn't decide your worth. It doesn't know your capacity. It doesn't see your future. It only knows your past and guesses at your limits based on the old version of you. But you're not that version anymore. You've grown, you've sharpened, and fear hasn't updated its file. That's why it sounds the same every time. Same lie, new day. But you're not the same, so you don't need to respond the same. You rise now. You move now. You build with the noise in the background, never giving it the spotlight. Fear's favorite weapon is delay. It tells you to wait until you're more ready, more sure, more perfect. But perfection is a stall tactic. You win by doing it scared, by building under pressure, by showing up with trembling hands but an unshakable decision. You stop giving fear a microphone by giving your actions more volume. Fear talks, but execution roars. You don't need less fear. You need more forward motion, more focused effort, more non-negotiable commitment to the outcome, regardless of how loud the opposition inside your mind gets. Train yourself to smile when fear speaks, not because you like it, but because you recognize it. It only shows up when you're close to growth. It only gets loud when your next move matters. So when fear gets louder, push harder. Take that as confirmation. The louder it gets, the more important your next step is. Let fear's noise be your cue to double down, not pull back. Let it be the signal that you're exactly where you need to be. Fear doesn't own you unless you hand it the mic. You've given it enough airtime. It said the same things long enough. Now it's your turn to speak with action, to drown out every lie with results, to prove that you were always more powerful than the noise in conclusion. Fear is nothing more than a liar with a microphone. Its voice is loud, but its words are empty. The moment you recognize this, you strip fear of its power. You no longer bow to its distorted truths or let it control your decisions. Instead, you rise, you move. You act in defiance of its noise, knowing that the only way to silence fear is through unstoppable forward momentum. Every step you take, every decision you make, every obstacle you overcome proves that fear is just a fleeting shadow, and your strength is the unshakable truth. Remember, fear will always be there, but so will you, and with action, resilience, and relentless pursuit of your goals, fear will eventually fade into the background. You are the force that shapes your reality, and when you move with conviction, nothing can stop you. Fear has no power over a person who refuses to listen. Now, step forward and let the world witness the unstoppable force that you are.